Hey everybody, welcome back to Double D Vintage Baseball Cards. My name is Dylan. I got a lot of cards I want to share with you guys. And as usual, my thoughts going through them. And I'm going to do these in mini collection form. When I got on YouTube and learned, watching guys collect cards, I learned so much about organizing them in different collections and using the existing collection you have and forming collections within them. And this whole new thing I'm into is like this type collection that, I should have known for my whole life. But when you're by yourself versus YouTube life, they're like two different species of collecting. It's so different. And not that the other one is bad. By yourself, doing whatever you want to do. No influence or inspiration anywhere. That's awesome too. I love that. But I look at my cards differently and I appreciate the cards I have because sometimes they form just little mini collections. And so I'm going to share some pickups and I'm going to go vintage, modern, and so on. And I'm going to get through whatever I get through. And there's some gifts here that'll blow your mind that are just really sick. So I'm excited to do those too. So let's start out with vintage before I lose you guys. Oh, you might be wondering what this horse racing game is behind you. Or actually in front of me, you get it. Well, this was a horse racing game that I grew up playing. This game, you'd buy these helmets and there was a track like this and it was like 8 foot. It was a huge one. And we had a block party on every Labor Day. And for my entire life living at my parents' house, there was a Labor Day block party. And it was at the end of the cul-de-sac. Well, a guy had they called it the horse track, but it was just a big giant track, but we used football helmets. And there's no graphics or anything. You put a cup out there and you put $1 in. That's how I first learned how to gamble. And I started when I was probably 5, 6 years old. They let me play. My dad let me play. We pick a number, put $1 in. And when you win, you get all the money in the pot. It was sick. So I took that. And as I grew older, I made my own game. And I have rules and drinking rules and bonuses. And I have, this normally had a spinner on it. This was the prototype. This is number 1 prototype. My wife helped me with the design. I mean, I laminated this, polished it, embedded the spinner into it. My wife designed it, and these rules are spectacular. So there was a time where I was gonna I thought about there's like a magnet in here, so it holds your money. I made a bunch of these. I sold them all, and then I made some that were portable. So that's what you're looking at. And I've gotten about a decade worth of enjoyment out of this game with friends during my the party zone time when I was in my 20s and early 30s. Like, dude, we would go nuts with this thing. I have video of like 30 of us around this board. Just insane. Any party I've ever been to, I always bring these, and I kept both nationals I was gonna bring these, and to the house in particular, and I completely forgot. I literally have portable versions that roll up, and I was like, with all the parts. It's so fun. Okay, with all that said, let's go. Let's look at some baseball cards. That's what you're here for. Cards and stories. First one is a great story. Super sick pickup. And it has to do with the 1963 Fleer set. You guys know this was the card that started it all for me as far as grading and what grade I was going to collect, because this is my childhood card. I got this from my aunt and uncle. I was probably 10 or 12 years old, and I got this in. It was in a card saver back then, or a top loader I should say. And it was yellowed, but I didn't know that my uncle had the whole collection. So I treasured that card, and I thought it was Gem Mint 10. So I sent it in for grading. As soon as I found out what grading was and, decided to send a batch of cards in, and this one went, and it came back a 7. And forever after that, I was buying 7s without even looking at them on the pit. Find out later, as I've learned, especially with YouTube, looking at my cards completely different, and you guys have seen the morph that, the morphosis that has taken place in my collection. It's crazy. This card's beautiful. I always thought this was like the most perfect baseball card ever. I still do think that. It's magical. Only thing that would make this card better is dead centered. But I went through my 7s, and I had 7s have so many issues. Print dots, off-centered, print lines, all kinds of things. All it really needs for a 7 is really sharp corners. And that's not how my collection is anymore. And I'm stoked to show one that, that I bought for this collection. So I've had that card forever. This is one maybe I've never even shown on the channel. When I used to buy autograph cards, I would always buy them graded. And what I would do is I would look for the sharpest looking card. That's the one I always wanted autographed. I've always said I like the ballpoint pens, which is very true. And I have quite a few of those. But I will buy cards like this, especially guys that have been signing forever. And this one just, it doesn't take away from the card itself. And when I bought this card, I bought it because it looked like a cherry mint card out of the pack, just like that Bob Gibson. Had this for a long time, and it's just a sick card. Orlando Cepeda autograph, 58. He was Rookie of the Year. It's a sick card. I mean, the way I would maximize the value out of this, if I ever decided to sell this card, is send it back in for dual grading, because dual grading is the new thing. Like, if you've got a million autographs that just say card, once you get those things dual graded, they double in value. I mean, it's so crazy. I'm not doing that to that card. That's staying in my collection. I almost gave it away on YouTube a few times to some collectors, but I'm really glad I kept it, because it's just one of those I cherry picked. And I only have 3 63 Fleers, and this is my newest pickup. This 1963 Willie Mays. That's a really beautiful card. I got this from George Diamond Yard. I was in the middle of negotiating for the other ones that I bought from him. And he said, dude, I picked up a card at the show he was just at in that weekend, because I had to wait for some money to clear to pay him. So in the meantime, he picked this other Maze up. And he goes, it's really nice. It's packed fresh. His words were undergraded. I don't use that terminology because I never look at my cards that way. I never look at my 3 and go, oh, that's undergraded, that should be a 4. I've always looked at them where it's a 3 because there's an issue that I can't see, or I could see it around a little softer corners, and I never beg that should be in a higher grade. Never have. That's not the terminology I would use. Same with this. This 5 looks better than that Bob Gibson 7, I'll tell you that right now. This thing's not dead centered either. It's got the top to bottom thing going, but it's got the diamond that you want. And when you look at these two cards side by side, the 5 looks minty fresh, but this one looks better. It looks far superior, and you can pay less for the 5 than the 7, and the color on this. So I'm just freaking stoked to have a 1963 Fleer card of Willie Mays. Unbelievable. So George Diamond Yard, thank you for finding this insane copy and selling it to me. It's a treasure in my collection. I'm so stoked to have this thing. I mean, look at that card. Willie Mays. Like, I went 3 million. I picked up 3 Willie Mays cards from George. I have one I have yet to share, which I will in the future. When I do like mini collections like this. So that's my first mini collection, 1963 Fleer. Look at how good those look. I mean, that's awesome. Shout out to everyone who does these little mini collections. You know, I always say Shane because he's the guy I originally started watching religiously and saw him do these mini collections. Plenty of guys are doing them, and plenty of guys probably did them before him, but he's a guy I always shout out. So shout out my buddy Shane, Shoebox Legends, and all your friends as well. All right, let's move on to the next one. Going to modern. Oh man, this is sick right here. So the other day I was on something and said, oh yeah, I haven't bought any Aaron Judges. I'm not buying any. Well, I forgot I had bought an Aaron Judge, and I had already bought one earlier. So I did buy 2 Aaron Judges that I could think of during the offseason. And the first one I shared already, but since it goes in the collection of the three, I'll share it again. 2024 Topps Chrome Black Ray Wave Refractor, numbered 2 of 10, Aaron Judge. I love these Ray Waves. When you get one in hand, right now it's my favorite parallel. I just, something about it. I have a couple golds with this, or I have one with Mike Trout. Man, it's really sick. I know there's the true, I want the true black as well, but I'm sold on a few of these other ones, and they're going to be collectibles. I just love it. So this I bought on eBay. I think I won it for $185 or something. I graded this a 9.5 mint plus. That means I'm not sure if it's a 10 or a 9. It has some minor issue, centering 100. So that's where I go with those. If I know it's a 10, it's a 10. If there's even any doubt, these are gonna, like, compared to PSA, man, I'm freaking strict. Like, I'll look at my 10s and I'll see, and I'll look through scopes and I'll see damages on corners and all kinds of things. So this thing, treasure in my collection for my Topps Chrome run and also my Aaron Judge collection. So let's put this in the back right here. That's going to be part of this three-way collection. And Aaron Judge, dude, this season is about to begin. I'm so freaking stoked. I can't wait to watch Judge and Trout and a few other guys. This next one, 2014 Topps Chrome Albert Pujols Black Refractor. I think these are numbered out 100. We will flip this over and look in a second. I want to say this was $85. That's what I want to say. So when I tell you guys the prices, to be honest with you, it's more embarrassing to tell the prices I pay for cards, because I most of the time I don't look up comps on especially on vintage, but modern I'll look up some comps, but I only have access to, a month or whatever that the eBay one is. And I don't think I looked up comps on this, nor did I look up comps on that. So I only tell you guys the price of cards. Literally, it's embarrassing, but I do it because the more we know. Like, when someone tells me the price they paid for a card, it gets my head spinning like, oh, I like that card. Maybe I want one of those. Oh, that cost that much? Okay. Or, oh, that cost too much. Or, whoo, Dylan way overpaid for that. Well, for sure, there's probably more of those. I always say I'm definitely paying, I'm paying what it costs in the moment. I'm not getting deals. I'm not buying collections. This was, numbered out of 100. I mean, this is a sick card. And this goes in my Albert Pujols collection, my Topps Chrome collection, and my Angels collection. Like, there's just a lot of places this thing goes. But officially, hold on, I'm getting a stand. Officially, this one goes in my Topps Chrome collection. Any Topps Chrome card goes in my Topps Chrome collection, not the players collection, unless it's a 2022 or 2023 Aaron Judge. Those ones go in a separate binder. This next card, man, I've had this. This was supposed to be shared so many times already, but for whatever reason, keeps getting pushed around. And it's a 2000 in my other Judge pickup, 2024 Topps Chrome Sapphire. What are they called? The Sapphire Selection. So this is an insert gold refractor, numbered out of 50, of course, which I just love. They're traditional, and they're claiming to stay traditional with our numbering and make it equal across the board, every year. So hopefully they stick to that. But this card is magical. Magical. I always wanted one of these. And I saw one. I think I paid $40 for this, or $45. I believe it was in an auction. And this is one of the most sickest modern cards in my collection. It's absolutely bonkers cool. In hand. Sometimes cards show good on film, and sometimes you got to have them in hand. So 2024 Topps Chrome Sapphire, Aaron Judge, Sapphire Selections Gold, numbered 11 out of 50. These were 1 in 170 packs to pull the insert, this insert, and then it was out of how many players, probably 10 in the set or something, the selection set. So you times it by the number of packs. That's how hard it would be for me to pull this exact card. This is the card I want for my collection. So I love it. Little mini collection. This one goes in Topps Chrome because I like to have inserts in my Topps Chrome binder as well. One binder I have in order, one card from every year. And the other binder is all my so-called extra, my bonus ones from any year. Dude, just love it. All right, so we're going to do one more, and it's going to be vintage. As I'm looking at going through my collection, every time I pick up a card, it goes through a rigorous channel in my collection. Like, I got to scan it, enter it, all kinds of different things. And once I put it in, then I look at it with the other ones and I'm like, wow, okay, that's sick. Yeah, I really like the look of that card for that price, all the above. So that's how I like deal with all my vintage cards. It's like this process now. It's so funny. It's like, I guess, just collecting sevens blindfolded back in the day because I wanted the card. Boom. And obviously I looked at, I bought tons of cards on eBay that I looked at as well. And I would look, not like I picked up cards from the pit and from eBay in the past that had like a print line or something. I'd be like, oh, never buy a card with a print line again. You tell yourself these all the way. But the centering was never really, it's just like, it's not that off-centered. But these three cards you're going to see they're just really cool. And some are minty fresh, like out of the pack, like this 1963 Topps AL batting leaders card. Mickey Mantle, top left corner. And this is a minty fresh 6. But this card in particular is really easy to find in really nice condition and well centered. But I love this design. I know you guys out there, the YouTubers, man, you don't like these floating heads. I have loved these since I was a kid. Everything about these, love it's a mantle in the back. I love the floating heads design. I think from the 60s, I just think it all makes sense. It's really cool. And when you're not on YouTube, like, people love the Pete Rose rookie. It's like the most iconic rookie of all time as my childhood, So let's move these over here. Spread the love out a little bit. Kind of merge the collection, so to speak. 2 over here. There we go. Push this back. Look at that. That's sick. I love it. Okay, next one you guys have seen. This is when I was going on my centering kick and I sold so much stuff. And these cards were like $15, $15-20, already graded, nicely centered. Is it a perfect card? No. But I don't need it to look like that last 6. Nor do I mean, I'm not going to lie. I want every card to look like that 6, of course, or that 5, but I don't need it to. And when you're paying such small amount of money and you could find like a card that looks like this, to me, it's a perfect card. A 3, to have this card, it's not like a card that's going to shoot up in value. It's nothing like that. This is just the 1962 NL League batting leaders. It's got Hank Aaron, Stan Musial, Frank Robinson, Bill White, Tommy Davis. It's just chock full of legends. And it's a beautiful copy for the price I paid. And I'm not ever going to sell this card or try and get a 6 like this. I'm done. This card, I'm done. But I did sell some of these that I purchased in the beginning of this centering thing that I know I can do better. But that one is staying. And so when you realize what you can live with, it's not even what you live with. When you realize what you enjoy, what you like your cards to look like, and you come to terms with these things. And I know it's per card and per year and per decade, and I do the same thing that everybody does. But 1963, paying $79 for this rookie card of Tony Oliva, is a no-brainer for me. Like, absolute no-brainer. Is it perfect? No, but it's perfect for my collection. And the price I paid, I don't really want to spend $300 on a Tony Oliva rookie card, but I really want his rookie card in my collection. Always have, and this is the very first one I've ever owned. This came up at auction. I won it for $78. There's no creases, no wrinkles, and nothing wrong with creases or wrinkles either, and no creases and wrinkles in that 3 either. I mean, that's a big, for a 3, you got that little bend in the top right corner, but there's no creases or wrinkles within the image, the card itself, basically. And that's why it's a 3 for me. But I love that. I love being stoked on my cards and coming to terms with the lowest financial risk possible and a beautiful card at the same time. And there's some print dots on here, and yeah, but I love it, and it's staying in my collection. And man, Jeannie's probably gonna throw something at the phone, me talking down on my cards. I'm not talking down on my cards. I'm pointing things out and talking about how I look at my cards. I don't just see a Tony Oliva rookie. I see this 63 Topps design with these 4 heads. Beautiful, like iconic rookie card. A Hall of Famer too, now I know. I wouldn't know he's in the Hall of Fame prior. I collected his cards. I love it. I just like talking about this stuff because others like it too, and it's fun, and we learn from each other. A lot of you guys wouldn't even think about having that card in your collection. You're like, no, I want this, or I want this. All right, well, dude, that's what I got for you guys. Man, I have another stack of cards, but I'll end this video, and I'll probably do another one right after this. I really appreciate you guys listening to me babble about my baseball card collection and the way I'm going about it. And I thank all of you guys for my comments, spending the time watching, and I just hope you guys get inspired like I do from other collectors out there, and don't be influenced and do things like I do, because I'm crazy. Shaka!